If I have to hear another person say that Christopher Nolan can do whatever he wants with the Odyssey movie because it's mythology, I'm going to lose my mind. Look, I am a neutral party in this situation. On the one hand, you have the historical fanatics, the accuracy fanatics, which I typically am one of them, who is upset about the fact that the costume design doesn't make any sense, the armor is from the wrong time period, the people who are being cast in roles don't look like the people of that time period. I've made other videos about that if you want to check those out. But guess what, guys? It's Hollywood. It's 2025. We are no longer in the glorious, brilliant days of 2004 when Peterson created Troy, this masterpiece that I think perfectly blended historical accuracy with good storytelling. So can we all relax about the fact that the armor and the costumes don't really make sense? It's as good as we're gonna get. The message is being conveyed. But that's not what's pissing me off the most. What's pissing me off the most is all of these people saying, oh, Christopher Nolan can do whatever he wants because the Odyssey is fantasy. The Odyssey is not real. You've never read a fucking book in your life. Or you've read stupid books, I'm sorry. First of all, let's understand the difference between fantasy and fiction. Okay, fantasy takes place in a made-up world with made-up events in made-up timelines. The Odyssey is a fictional story that takes place in a real time in history. When in history does it take place, you ask? 10 years after the end of the Trojan War, which anybody who has internet access can see was a real event that occurred between 1250 to 1180 BC. Which means that the Odyssey takes place between 1240 to 1170. Where does it take place? Western Turkey, southern Greece, and Sicily. So it is not fantasy. It is mythology, but you don't understand what mythology means. That's perfectly fine. It is fictional. That's probably the closest term that we're going to agree on. We can never prove if Odysseus was a real man. We can never prove if Telemachus existed. We can never prove if there was really a Cyclops or sirens or things like that. Those are probably amalgamations of previous people groups or things that existed around that time. Anyways, the point is this is not fantasy. This is a fictional story that takes place with what would have been real people living in a real time in history after a very real event. But the Cyclops and the sirens and the intervention of the gods, bro, are you a moron? If I say that the spirit of liberty and freedom was present amongst the men in the Revolutionary War, are you going to say that the Revolutionary War didn't exist? Why aren't you guys Googling this stuff before you make these videos? Anyways, I'm still pretty excited to see this movie. I think it's going to be great. I'm not that upset about the costuming. I'm not really that upset about the casting. It's Hollywood. They're trying to put together a good movie with big names. One day. One day.